Hello and welcome to the Fit and Fabulous podcast. Today I am here with my mom and coach as well for Fierce Queen Fitness. We're excited to dive in today. We're going to be talking about two generations, one decision to change, kind of our where we were, where we started, and where we are now. We obviously took different journeys to be where we are now, but similar paths, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna start with mine, and then Mom will let you jump in, of course. So, I have PCOS, and I also have hypothyroidism. I didn't really struggle with my weight per se until I went to college. But when I went to college, I rapidly gained weight, and I did struggle with my weight for a while. I also struggled with a lot of binge eating, really bad. I had a really poor relationship with food. I used food to like help me deal and cope with like stress and honestly like any emotion, like food was it. And honestly, that's kind of what we did, right, Mom? Like if we
Right.
had like a bad day, like we would go, I don't know, get
Treat
like
ourselves.
cookies. Or you would make like cookies, or we
Hmm.
would go get like Wendy's or whatever it was. Like that's what we used to deal with food for or to deal with our stress for so long. And so it just kind of, I feel like for me, like going into college, it amplified because that was new level stress I was dealing with because there was a lot of pressure to like do well in school and perform. And that's honestly, too, when my PCOS took over, I started like breaking out with like really bad cystic acne. I was training. I remember I was working out, I was running, and I just kept gaining weight. That was really frustrating. And I just remember just like this is kind of sad to think about, but like being in a room with a bunch of other like beautiful young 18, 19, 20-year-old women, and they were thin and they were so like lean, and I remember like these were my friends. I knew what they ate and it wasn't like the healthiest. And then there was me who I wasn't. Like I had some extra weight on me. I was like a size medium. Some of my clothes were size large. I also wasn't fitting in a lot of my clothes that we had bought for me like the year before or coming into college. And so I remember just
Mhm.
feeling really frustrated and like really insecure because I was like, why do these girls look so skinny and so small and I can't seem to lose 5 pounds? If anything, I'm gaining weight. And so that was a really, really frustrating place for me. And that was in my early 20s, like late teens, early 20s. So yeah, that's kind of where I was, just like feeling really insecure, feeling really just like frustrated with my body. I've gone through this phase like twice in my life, but that I remember that was like I didn't know what was going on and I didn't know why my body hated me so much. And then I remember getting diagnosed with PCOS. That was even more frustrating because the doctor basically told me like you're always gonna struggle with your weight and you're probably gonna be like overweight most of your life and you're gonna struggle with fertility. And I was like 20 years old when I got diagnosed, and I just remember feeling so like I guess this is who I
Hopeless.
am. Like yeah, like I remember I called you, I called my other sister, and I was like, it just sucks. Like it kind of sucks when you have a doctor tell you like what your life's going to look like as far as your health goes. And so I remember just feeling like this is just it. Like I guess this is who I am. And I won't lie, like I for a few weeks I let that take over. I did. I let it take over and I kind of was like fuck it. Like I guess it doesn't matter what I do. Like these hormonal imbalances that I have and hormonal conditions I have, it doesn't matter what I do. So whatever. But I finally got to a point where I was just, I remember getting on the scale and like I was gaining weight and I was just like, I can't keep living like this. Like I do have ownership in my choices. And that's kind of where I started. Like that was kind of my start point of like I need to do something about this and I can't let doctors or other people like tell me who I am, what my body's going to look like or what I'm going to feel like. So that was my starting point, like of I refuse to stay in this place of like the doctors telling me who I am. And I feel like a lot of women can relate to this because I feel like a lot of women have doctors tell them like whether they're menopausal, perimenopausal, or they have like a thyroid condition, or maybe like me, PCOS. Like literally doctors are so cruel sometimes. Like I always say to my clients, I'm like, doctors don't remember and realize that you're still a human and you have feelings. They're so textbook that they will say things that are so harsh and it'll stick with you.
Hmm.
So I think a lot of them can relate to my story because they're, probably told by their doctors, oh, this is just part of life. Like, this is where you're at now. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You're always going to struggle. So
And
that's
that's
where I
hard to be
started.
told. It takes the hope right away. Doctors will always give you the worst diagnosis, and then you've got to like find that hope again because that would be really hard to hear, like super hard to hear. But
Yeah. Yeah. That was my journey to starting. Like, it was. I've always worked out. I've always worked out. Even like in high school and college, like
no,
working out has
you
never
have.
been something I've never not done. I've always trained with weights. But my nutrition was really bad. I struggled really bad with binge eating. For a really long time, binge eating was my biggest reason why I couldn't lose any weight and why I struggled to reach my composition goals. Is because I would be good, right?
Hmm.
Quote unquote. I'd be good
Right.
for like a week or 2 days or three, and then I would just stuff my face. So, what about you, Mom? Like, I know a few weeks ago we talked about your journey, but like, where did you start?
My whole life I have, like you, I've worked out my whole life. I have had babies and then I've had to lose the weight, but I've always had, what you consider healthy eating. You'd go on a diet, you'd lose your weight, you'd be really good and you'd be just perfect, and then you'd be starving, and then you would binge. And so I've had binging like for years and years. But I think, like I was thinking about it today, even after my anxiety, like I had to climb out of that. I remember I did Beachbody there for a while, and that worked for a while. But I still had binging. I still didn't really know nutrition. My body was still breaking down. I was still getting hurt. Um, I just remember I'm like, I can't keep doing this anymore. I can't keep doing this yo yo. And I think the biggest thing that hit me was you have to go back to the gym, Camille. You got to hire somebody. And it wasn't really me telling myself that. It was a trainer of mine that came up to me at the gym that says, Camille, I'll train you 3 times just for free. Just come back. Stop cycling. Stop. Because I was cycling. We had went and we had ran that Spartan. I mean, I was doing everything. My body was what you would consider very healthy. I was running. I was doing Spartans. I would still work out. I hit the gym downstairs in our basement, but I wasn't hitting it heavy. I was just doing, what felt good and what they would tell me to on the videos. And I would do the videos, but I just wasn't getting strong. I was repeating the same old cycles. And so um, when my trainer came up to me and he's like, Camille, I'll train you. I'm like, you would? You'd really train me? He's like, yeah, I'll train you 3 times. See if you like it. Stop cycling, Camille. Stop doing all this cardio. And I think that was the biggest thing that clicked is, okay, I need to hire a coach. I need somebody that specializes in this. I can't just keep doing it my way because my way, I keep yo-yo. I keep, um, I'll yo-yo, then I'll get off it. I'll just totally fall off the wagon. And then I try it again. I'll do it my way and then I'll fall off the wagon. And so when I actually hired a coach, I'm like, I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to do it. I think that was one of the biggest things is hiring a coach. I had to be accountable to somebody, and the yo-yos stopped because I had somebody that was checking in with me. He was going over my nutrition. And he'd be like, well, now, Camille, this would be better. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It would be better. And then stop doing so much cardio, Camille. Stop cycling. I mean, we had run that Spartan. I had hurt my ribs. And so to breathe, I would have to work out and then I could breathe and cycle. But then he's just like, Camille, let's start. weight training. And so I think the biggest thing is I hired somebody and that really knew how to, like, how things worked in your body. I had hired him years and years ago, and that's when I had the most success, and it stuck. And so I just started down that path, and I had somebody in my corner that when I would be frustrated, he'd be like, no, you're going to be the comeback kid, and you're going to do it this time. And so I started out really slow with him, really slow. I had injuries that I was healing from. I had ribs that hurt. I had a hip that was hurting, but it didn't matter because he knew how to work around my injuries and how to wrap my injuries and how to help me keep going, how to go slow and methodical. I mean, not just train heavy and stupid, but actually have somebody that knew what he was doing. And Camille, you can do this to help your injuries. You can work it this way. You just keep working through it. You don't stop when things get injured. You just work around it. And so he gave me a really good mindset of how to work around my injuries, how to not stop, how to be consistent, how to keep going. I mean, I think hiring a coach is the best thing I've ever done. And I don't just have him as a trainer at the gym that helps me stay strong and safe, but I have a coach that helps me work through my competitions and gets me geared up for those. And so, it's like anything in life. You get what you pay for. If you pay for something, you're going to value it a lot more than just your own advice or what you think is going to work good. Like, you're going to have a professional that actually can come and help you and see your weak spots and help you make those strong again and see your strong parts and compliment you on those and help you work through it all. That was my biggest thing, is hiring a coach. And like, it was just a weak spot in my life that I knew I had to stop doing it my way, because my way just kept getting me yo-yoing. So that's the biggest thing I thought through this morning, is hiring a coach is one of the best things I did.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I think that's really big. I think that's where, for me too, like I won't lie, like that's when I started seeing changes too, is I went out and hired someone who knew more than me. We all like to think that we're like so smart and we know all these things, but like I don't care how much schooling you have, like even the best of the best out there, like I heard something, I think it's like every I don't know if women know who this guy is. I'm pretty sure they do. Peyton Manning. Okay, Peyton Manning
Oh
was
yeah.
like the best football player, right? We all know him, his name. He had like a coach just to help him specifically with his position, even though he was the best in the whole NFL. And I heard that and I was like, that's really interesting. Like, he was humble enough to say, you know what? Like, I'm really good. I'm the best. I'm like actually the best in my sport, but I need more help. I need guidance outside of just my actual coach from our sport. So that was really cool for me to hear that, because I was like, wow, how many times do we think we know everything? And we really, maybe we know a lot. Like, trust me, I've worked with doctors, I've worked with dietitians, I have worked with people who have PhDs in nutritional science and exercise physiology. You know what? Everybody needs someone to be accountable to. If you have a big goal and you want to reach a level you've never reached, you probably need to hire someone that has been doing this for a while. You probably need to hire someone who can actually get you there in a smart way. But yeah, I agree. That's when my really some of my biggest changes happened, is when I hired help and I hired a coach to get me out of my head.
Hmm.
I remember my first bodybuilding coach. Well, actually, it was your trainer, Mom. It was Aaron.
Yeah.
He was my first.
Aaron.
And then as I worked with him for a little while, and his nutritional strategy just wasn't really working for me. And so then I switched over to a coach. Her name is Tamra.
I remember.
Um, she was really like the reason why I loved working with my first coach is because he got me off of doing all the cardio, right? Just like he did with you,
Right.
Mom. So we
Yes.
worked with the same trainer for the first time.
Hmm.
Um, I worked with him, and he literally did the same thing with me. He's like, "Why are you doing so much cardio?" And I was like, "I'm just trying to like like look like this girl on this fitness magazine. And he goes, she doesn't do that much cardio. She's lifting weights. And so he actually taught me how to break down training in a strategic way. And guys, this is even, I was like a certified personal trainer. I had actually gone through the education and the schooling, but just because you go out and you get certifications doesn't mean you applicably know what you're doing. Like, trust me, I know I was a training manager at a gym and I hired like people who had bachelor's degree in exercise science and they had like their NSAM, certification that you only can get with a degree. They didn't know what they were doing applicably to help people. So just because someone has a lot of education and schooling doesn't mean they actually necessarily know how to help you. I have found the best coaches, honestly, are the ones with the most experience, right? So I hired Aaron and he helped me stop doing so much cardio, just like you, Mom. I started training. And I remember my body did start transforming as I worked with him because I worked with him coming into my wedding. And I remember I got
Yes.
leaner.
Yeah.
My arms, I remember looking at my arms and being like, oh, I've never had toned arms
You're
before.
beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, I looked so good for my wedding. And
Yeah.
then not too long after that, I did my first competition because, well, I don't know, I just did. And I was married and I was broke as shit, but we paid for it anyways. Because I really do think if it's important to you, you'll find a way to make it work. And we did. We pinched pennies. We never went out to eat. We did. We really pinched really hard. I think I worked like an extra job. But I paid Aaron and then I started working with my other coach, Tamra. And through my, honestly, what am I at now? I'm 32. I hired my first trainer at like 20. So that's 12 years of experience I have as a coach myself. But you want to know something crazy? Through all of these years, I have probably spent closer to like 9 years working with coaches myself. Why? Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I always have my shit together. My coaches help me keep my shit together because I have other things going on in my life that are really stressful. And so when you have a coach that you have to check in with and be accountable to,
It
it kind of,
changes.
yeah, it forces you to stay on top of it. Like I was
Yeah.
just telling my mom, just telling you, Mom, like all the stress I've been dealing with this last week. And you're like, oh, and you just started prep. And I'm like, well, I've got a coach. I've got to check in with him. And if I'm not on top of my stuff, he's gonna be like, what the hell's going on, Brooklyn? Do you want to compete or not? So like having accountability is so important. Like I
Yeah.
don't care how much Google research you've done or how much schooling or education you have. Like, guys, I've literally worked with women who are dietitians and they have like 10, 20 years of experience and they come to me and they're like, I've never looked like this before after working with me for 6 months. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you probably have never,
Yay.
yeah, you've probably just thought that like you had it yourself. But like, I will always say I'm the first person that will go out and hire someone if I don't know how to do something. Um, and
She
I
does
feel
with
like,
her business, everything. You do it with everything. And you have succeeded in everything. Every goal you've had, you have reached it because you have went out and hired help of the pros that know what they're doing. I mean, it's a game changer when you can hire help. So go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, I was just exactly like, if I don't know how to do something, I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I know everything because I could chat GPT the shit out of it. I could Google it all out. I could buy all the books. But I have found personally the best help you will ever get is from someone who has been doing it for a while, right? So
Mhm.
like again, I've been a certified trainer since I was 18. It was like I went out and got my certification when I was literally 18. No, I think I was like turning 19. So that means I'm like what, 14 years now of like a certified trainer.
So
I
cool.
didn't learn shit from those books. I'll be honest. Most of the things I have learned through my career as a trainer and as a coach, as a women's weight loss coach, is from my experience hiring coaches and my mentor. I call them my coaches, but they're also my mentors because I learn a lot
Yes,
from
very
them.
much.
Yeah, they become mentors because you learn from them. They teach you, and then also like yeah, so like right now I'm getting ready for my pro debut. So I have Paul. Paul is my coach who gets my nutrition and he kind of dials that in. He tells me what to do with my cardio. He kind of tells me when we need to like adjust food, we need to adjust cardio. Could I do it myself? Yes, I coached myself for years. But honestly, I value having a coach always. Like, I always value having a coach, especially at this level. I went out and hired a personal trainer who specializes in bodybuilding training for bikini and fit model girls, like for the division I am in. And he's like really well known in the industry for just training specifically. I feel like out of all the things I'm really good at, I'm really good at training, but I feel like I can always learn. So I went out and I hired him. Okay, I just did this. And then I also have a posing coach. Okay, because I'm not going to pretend like I'm great at all these things. So that goes to show, like, I hope that shows, like, the audience, like, it's okay to go out and hire help. If it's important to you, like for me, my pro debut is really important to me. I'm going to make sure that I come in, like, with all of my ducks in a row. And if I have good coaches in my corner, from my training to my nutrition to my posing, I'm going to feel confident. And so, like, for you, Mom, like, let's talk about the turning point. So the turning point for you was hiring a coach, myself as well. That was a huge, huge turning
Yeah.
point. Um, what was different? Like, you know, for me, hiring a coach took the stress out. Like, there's been times where I've stopped working with coaches and I've just coached myself. And honestly, those are the most stressful times because I'm like checking in with myself and analyzing my physique. And then if I'm not accountable, I'm like, oh, well, it's fine. When you have a coach and you're not on it, like, you're either going to be honest with them or you're going to lie to them. You know, let's hope you're
Well,
honest with
and
them.
you want to like check in and have a good check-in. Like I love checking in with my coach, but I remember in the beginning it was always a little scary because I'm like, oh, I
How are they
ate
going to
this.
react?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think that was just it was so life-changing because instead of falling on myself and saying, "Oh, I'll do it next week," I
Yeah.
seriously had to check in with my coach and I had to check in with pictures, the front pose, the back pose, which that was hard. Um, and then, he went over my nutrition. This was in the very, very beginning. And now Mike, Aaron, like I do, I check in with him every week and he does graphs and he weighs and measures me, but it's not so much on nutrition because I've kind of got that in order. I do that with my other coach and he looks at all the pictures now. I have two coaches and then I have a posing coach, but that's why I'm so successful is because I'm always checking in and I love my check-ins. Like I want to feel good with my check-ins. And so to me, when the weekends roll around, which normally, I mean, not normally, but years ago, I would have been like, screw it. It doesn't matter. I just eat whatever I wanted and then I'd start Monday. Well, now I check in on Tuesday. So my weight's got to be pretty in control for 2 days. And I love checking in. I just love checking in because it keeps me totally accountable. And also, like you said, they get you out of your head when you're worried or nervous about something, or when you can kind of slip on yourself and start getting a little bit in the negative headspace. They'll be the first ones to say, "You're doing this. Like, look at how good you're doing." And it changes everything because it's not just you in your head trying to roll back around to the next weekend and then hitting it again. You're checking in. You have a coach that's got your back, that sees all your weaknesses. And for me at my age and with all my injuries, I really needed somebody that could help me work through my injuries and keep my head in a good headspace. Because when you get injured or when you get sick, it's a little depressing when you can't hit the weights or when you can't do what you normally do and you have to back off. But a coach will keep you healthy and keep your body from getting hurt worse because somebody that loves to push the limits, I do. I'll push the limits. I'll try to go heavier even when I'm injured. My coach, my trainer at the gym will be like, no, no, like be kind to your body, back off a little bit, give yourself a little bit of space. Um, they'll be good to you when you yourself will just push hard and hurt yourself even worse. So to me, a coach is invaluable. And when you hire somebody, you you value it so much more than just doing it yourself. And yeah, those professionals, they can push you through any boundary that you have yourself. They'll push you and they'll push you and you'll be able to achieve those goals because you've got somebody there that has been there. They've competed or they've hit their goals. And for me, my coaches, they still are in their goals. They have not let themselves slide. They have stayed in their goals. And to me, that's really important. I hire people that they live what they teach. And that's really important because it's hard to listen to somebody if they're not living what they preach. So yeah, I mean that's a whole lot that I said, but a coach is extremely important. I just yeah. So
I
anything,
like that.
yeah.
That wasn't like that wasn't like the point of this call, but I feel like that's where it's going. Like we were going to talk about, our two generations, one decision to change, and like I would be lying if I said a big part of my transformation is honestly my coaches. Like the people I hired are like literally the biggest reason why I am where I am today. So like
Yeah.
if you see someone and they are where you want to be, then like you either hire them or you work with someone who knows how to get you there. Like,
Mhm.
but you can't just look at someone and be like, I'd love to get there. And then you don't go out and invest in yourself. Like,
Mhm.
it's almost like me going, I'll use this as an example. Like, I'm not a very fashionable person. I'm not. Mom, you are. If I want to look good and I want to have a really beautiful closet full of clothes that is super high fashion forward, I would probably go out and like go shopping with you, mom, or like hire you to like redo my whole wardrobe. Because like if I go do it myself, it's gonna be filled with t-shirts and jeans and like yoga pants. Like so like it's the same concept. Like if you want to have the physique and the body you've never had, you probably need to go out and hire someone who has been able to do that for themselves. This is a big reason why I started my business, Fierce Queen. And this is why I continue to evolve. It continues to evolve and change. Is because like those are the kind of women I want to work with. I want to work with the version of myself who I used to be and help them get to this level. Like I'll get my clients to a level where they're like, I never thought I could look like this. I'm like, well, you are, so good job. And it's because and they always say, oh well, Brooklyn, like you helped me get here, and I'm like, honestly, like all I am, I would say I'm Yoda, you're Luke Skywalker, like you're the
Love that.
superhero. You're the one
I
that
love
comes
that.
in and you do all the work. Like doing all the training, you're doing the nutrition. I'm just Yoda. I'm just the one whispering in your ear, like telling you what to do, how to do it, and that's it. But honestly, like that's I can honestly say that's where I am right now is because of my coaches who pushed me to get to where I am. I would not be where I am today without the help of other people. And I feel like anybody who's successful in life, if they really took a minute to look at why they're successful, especially if we're talking about body composition and health, business, anything, it's other people. It's mentors, teachers, coaches. I mean, even for me in my business, like I have mentors and coaches that I can specifically name still to this day that help me really like get my business up off the ground and get it to where it is now. Um, so I guess like the whole point, like for you and me, mom, like we didn't just get here by chance. The biggest change we made was hiring help and hiring coaches
Mhm.
and working with people who know more than us and that they're at a place in like with their fitness and their health that we also want to be at too, or they help people get to those levels. So for me and as for you, like when we hired the help finally, I feel like for some people it's kind of an ego thing too, right? Like I don't need help, I can do this myself. I'm sorry, if you're saying you can do this by yourself, you're always gonna be stuck. Like I literally, like when people are like, oh, I could probably figure it out myself, I'm like, then why aren't you where you want to be at? Like period. Like if you feel like you could get there, then why aren't you there? Well, probably because you don't know how to get there and you need to work with someone who gets it. So for us, like, what was the biggest change that you noticed beyond the scale when you finally made the change?
When I finally made the change, there was something in me that was like, I'm not going back there again. I'm just not. And I knew I finally had made a goal that I had to do it. And I was super psyched about it. I mean, I think you need to find something that makes you excited. And I think for people that are successful in things, they make the goals bigger. Like they say you're supposed to make them, goals small and stuff that you can do. But I think sometimes make your goal big, and but it's got to be something you're excited about. Like, or if you have a goal that you want to be a certain size by a certain time frame, book yourself a trip, go on a trip or something, like reward yourself. And so for me, my competition was kind of a reward of something that I had broke through. And to break through it was just years and years of yo-yoing and finally seeing myself all the hard work, um, ever like all the years of like trying to break through this yo-yo, and I finally did it. Like I finally learned what worked for me, and it took me years to learn how to do it really successfully. But I think practicing day by day, consistency is huge. I don't, it just meant so much to have a coach help me and always be there for me. Being in a place that you go, that you have good friends that, you go there and you're like, hey, Camille, yay, they give you high fives. And that's important. It's important to be excited about what you're doing. And if you're not excited about losing weight, well, then maybe there's something else that is not kicking in. Like, if you're not excited about your journey, maybe there's something that you're missing. Or maybe there's a goal that, I don't know, just reward yourself. I think it's important to reward yourself with something big. So for me, a goal was a competition. That was a big goal for me. And to finally get there to where I knew I could achieve it. But a big part of that was going back to the gym and hiring a coach. I just keep going back to that because that was the beginning. Um, because you can finally break those cycles when you hire somebody that can get in your head and break some of those things that you tell yourself. No, you can do it. You're doing this. Look at how good you're doing. Because I think as, if we're in charge of ourselves, we'll just get in our head and, oh, this is just so hard. This is so hard. But when you have somebody believe in you, like you said, you're people believers, they get you out of those cycles. And it's mental and it's physical. It's everything. So
Yeah.
it's getting to a good place that gets you out of those cycles every single day. Because in the beginning, you do need somebody that's in your ear that says, you're going to do this. Like, you're going to do this. You're going to do this, Camille. And that's, to me, that's just crucial, having somebody. Because to me, when you get home sometimes and you get comfortable and you sit down, you're like, oh, it's just so much easier to sit here. Or if you have a spouse that's not really happy about it, what are you going to the gym for? I mean, you don't need to go today. But when you have somebody at the gym and they're like, doesn't this feel good? Like, isn't it just amazing to be here? Like, you're doing this. Look at your progress. So I just keep going back to a coach because I'm like, that's what made such a big difference. It changed my life. And so I've kept it up. I will never stop because it keeps me accountable. It keeps me in my goals with what I want to do. And they'll check in with me. Okay, so what do you want to do this year? Well, I don't have it decided yet. All right, so that's in the back of my head. Well, what do you want to do this year? So I think it's with everything. It's important to have goals. It's important to have somebody that's got your back. To me, a coach is just so crucial to your journey. If you want to just transform or up your game or level up, it's just crucial because they know what they're doing. They will help you get out of your head in every way, and they'll keep you looking at all the good that you're doing instead of backtracking. So, yeah, that's just a lot of the same stuff we've been talking about. But to me, it's just so crucial.
No, I agree. Yeah, no, I think that that's a big thing people, it's like they want to know what strategy, what training, what nutrition, and it's like I think you're missing the whole point. I think people miss the point of like it doesn't matter because what you do, what I do might not work for you. And this is where having like someone honestly that knows what they're doing and how to get you from A to Z is so important because they can tailor that for you. They will help you through all of the ups and downs of your life. Like you might have a week where you're doing great, and then you'll have a week where you're not doing great. You might have a week where, or a month where your life is a shit show. And, having a
Very
coach in your
true.
corner to remind you of your goals and to help you stay on top of something is really vital. So, like, I'd say, like, the number one thing that changed for you and me is just having someone in our corner and, like, having accountability. That's been a big one for me too. Like, I have been working with my coach for, like, I think 3 years now. Like, just working with him nonstop, and I've literally, like, achieved a goal I never thought I would achieve. And it's crazy to think about that, because I'm like, wow, like, really hiring help and working with someone, it really is a life changer. Like, it really is life changing. Um, so I guess, like, let's just kind of have a quick round for women listening from each of us. So what I'm gonna ask for myself, and then for you, Mom, since I'm hosting. If we had everybody on here, it'd make more sense. But one thing to stop doing, one thing to start doing, one thing to let go of. I would say the first thing to start doing is go out and hire a coach. I mean, if you, like, love listening to me and my mom, you like this podcast, and we kind of fit, again, like, I am perimenopause and menopause certified. I work with women only and specifically, like, for stubborn fat loss. So I would say, like, if you're considering working with a coach, like, now's the time, pull the trigger, do it, because you won't regret it. Like, it is one of the best investments that I will make. And honestly, for me, I will pinch pennies everywhere in my life if I have to afford a coach. I will, because I've done it before. I will work extra. I will work extra jobs, because, like, it is so important to me. My health is, like, one of my most important things, and having someone in my corner is everything. So that would be the first thing I would say, maybe to start doing. To stop doing, I would say stop trying to do it all on your own. Because if you're trying to do it on your own, you're going to just keep getting stuck. And that's really frustrating. And that's where you throw your hands up and say, fuck it, whatever. This is why having a coach is so important. And then one belief to let go of, I'm going to say it, is I can do this by myself. I don't need help. That belief right there is going to get you stuck in so many areas of your life. If you look at anybody who's anywhere in life, in like a higher place, whether it be, like, financially, or from a fitness perspective, or whatever it may be, they have gone out and worked with other people, and had other people help them. So for you, Mom, what is one thing you would recommend to the audience to stop doing?
Um, Stop doing. The one thing I had to stop doing is worrying about everything everyone else
Yeah,
thought. I needed to finally do what I wanted to do to make me happy. That was
I love that.
the biggest thing. I mean, I had to just figure out what I wanted and go for it.
Yeah.
And I hired a coach. I did. And it was a lot of money, but it was really important to me. I mean, as you get older, and even going when you're younger, when you go through trauma, when you go through stress, your body starts to feel it. Like, things will start breaking down. And if you don't have a professional or somebody that knows what they're doing, they can hurt you. And so it's important to hire somebody that can be careful with your body and know your weaknesses and know what's hurting, or how to help you break through and just keep going. So, number one, stop worrying about everybody else. Go do what makes you happy, and finally go do it. I mean, just like you said, pull the trigger, go hire a coach. And yes, I had to have my coach actually come up to me at the gym and say, "Hey, Camille, I'll train you." And when I realized what a value that was, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to really work. He's going to get me strong. Like, I won't just keep falling back on myself and on my old habits. And when I get hurt, I won't just stop doing this. I can keep working those muscle groups, but I will work around them and I will keep going. And so as you get older, it's important to know that your body will still work hard for you. You just have to learn how to work smart with it and have a coach that knows how to do that. It's really important. So what was another question? I can't
Hold on.
remember the
No, you're good.
what.
One belief to let go of.
that it'll never happen this time. I think the biggest thing for me was this time I had hired somebody and it was going to work this time. It was going to work and I was going to make it work no matter what. I had to let go of it's not going to work this time. Maybe this time it's going to be the same. I had to let go of that. This time it will be different. It'll be totally different. And be excited about your journey and start looking at all the exciting things that are happening with your journey right now. Things are changing. And you can feel it in your body and your mind as they change. You can just feel these aha moments. And you'll just kind of start being on fire as you get excited about your journey. And when something is working, you'll start getting excited and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is really working. So, biggest thing to let go of, this isn't going to work this time. Start saying to yourself, this is going to totally work. This is going to work. I'm going to do it this time. We're going to do it. We're going to break through. And this will be the last time I have to live this cycle again. And so that's my big thing is it's going to work this time. This time it's really going to work. And it really did work. I hired a coach and it took time to learn and to practice and for things to set in place. But instead of going like this and going up and down, I was going up a little at a time. I was going up. I was climbing that mountain at a time. Sometimes I would fall a little, but I was still going up instead of backtracking. So that's the biggest thing is this time it's going to work. So
I love
yeah.
that. That's a big mindset shift. That's what I tell my clients. Like, I had one client, she's like, I just don't know if this is going to work. And I'm like, well, if you keep talking like that, you're probably right. Like, you've got to believe, like, this will work. But you also need to hire someone who can
Yes.
prove that they know how to do it.
Hmm.
Because, I can think of, like, some trainers at our gym, like, that I go to, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know why you're training because that's not how you do a deadlift. Or like, like you see some coaches out there and you're just like, okay, I would not pay you because you don't have the social proof. But if you work, so we'll start here. If you work with the right coach and you hire the right help and you believe in them, like you need to believe in them and
You do.
you need to believe in their process and you trust them, you have to also believe in yourself
Hmm.
because it's one thing to believe in your coach, but you also need to believe like I can do this. That was kind of the biggest change I think the last 2 weeks since we talked, Mom. I was like, I'm just struggling to even like believe like I belong on that stage. And so you were like, do some visualization. And I'm like, you know what? I do belong on that stage. I've worked really hard to get here. I'm going to believe and I'm going to trust in my coach to get me to that point, and I'm going to trust in my people in my corner. So I think that that's a big one. Is like you have to push past the fear of like I don't think this is going to work, and just say, you know what, like I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to trust the people in my corner to get me there. That's it, and you do that, and like you will totally get there. And I love that so much. So no matter, I guess, like what your starting point is, what your age is, like you can still get to where you want to be. You just got to have the right people in your corner, hire the help, hire the coach, and believe in yourself. And that's it. So anything else you wanted to add
Well,
at the end
I
of
think,
this?
yeah, in the beginning, it's always a slow process. I
Yeah.
I would have loved to have lost weight really, really quick in the beginning, but it was so important for me to gradually do it. Like it took me a year to step on stage from beginning working with my coach to stepping on stage. It took a full year because I wanted it to work. I wanted it to stick. And I started slow. I started, like, I had injuries, but every win, like, I would just go a little bit, um, I would go a little bit longer after a month. I would go, instead of 30 minutes, I'd go 40 minutes. And so I would add time and then I would add weights on top of that. And everything was a big win. Like, even from doing step ups to doing a higher step up was a huge win, to adding a dumbbell was a huge win. And I remember when I would be able to do something that I hadn't been able to do. And when you go back to the gym, you will find weaknesses in your body that you haven't been able to do things for a while. And you'll find after being at the gym for 2 or 3 months, you'll be able to start doing them. And Those are huge wins. And I would give my high fiver a big five, my trainer a big high five. And I'd be like, I did it. I freaking did it. And like, those are huge wins when you can push past those limits that your body has had on you. And then you see your food start getting better and better, because with each win, you feel stronger and you feel better. And then you'll just keep pushing and you'll keep doing better and stronger. And they're all little wins, but they add up to so much. And after, I started doing the simplest things at the gym, to where I lifted fucking heavy weights at the gym, and to where I was in total control of my food. And I hit the stage after a year. It took me a full year, but I was safe doing it. I did it little by little. And then I was totally confident. And I had somebody that on my not so confident days that would tell me, Camille, you're doing this. You're doing this. So all those things are so important in the beginning. And it's important to start slow and then gradually just keep adding and adding. And then you'll be strong as shit. I mean, you'll just be a badass in the gym. You'll be a beast. But it just takes time to get there, to be patient with yourself and to see all those little wins, because they add up to so much, so much. So yeah.
I love that. That's so great. Yeah, I think just, you've got to focus on the wins and the things you're doing good at from A to Z, and remember it doesn't
Right.
just happen overnight. I think that's really important too for a lot of women. Like, I think women look at you and they're like, how long did it take her? And I'm like, honestly, it took her years. Like, it took her years
Yeah.
to get to where she's at now. It's taken me years. It
Not to
doesn't happen
practice.
overnight, but if
No.
yeah, but if you stay at it and you keep working with those coaches, like, you'll get there. You really will. If I could see what I look like now, 5, 10 years ago, I'd be like, holy shit! Like, I look like those women that I used to admire, but I would never have ever guessed that. But it's because of those hiring the help, believing in yourself, and then just being patient with the process. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys, again, like, go ahead and comment below, like, one big thing that, like, you kind of feel like maybe I need to let go of this or I need to work on this. Comment below that. Go ahead and just, follow, share, tag someone who needs to hear this. Um, you guys, please give us some good reviews. Like, we do this podcast, honestly, like, just for the love of it. Like, we want to reach out to other women and inspire them to, just go after their goals, whatever they may be. So yeah. And if you're, part of Fierce Queen Fitness, shout out to you for, being a part of our community. If you're interested in coaching, please, send us a message on Instagram, Facebook. My mom's a coach. I'm a coach. Dakota's usually on here. Amanda, all coaches for Fierce Queen. Really passionate about helping other women. So, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks for hopping on.
Bye.